Aloha and welcome to Mystic Wisdom Dialogues with Wayne Kealohi Powell here on the beautiful island of Kauai, the center of the largest ocean in the world. We're streaming worldwide today on YouTube and soon on Facebook, starting next week, and on Zoom. And thank all of you who are joining me now for this Sunday morning exploration of how to create miracles. Como mai, como mai, como mai. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ho'omai ka'i, po'imanu keia. We bless all those beings, all those spirits that are showing up today, in bodies and not in bodies, embodied. Well, today's been a very, very interesting week for me. I'm exploring some programs that we're all running as human defaults, and that we're all kind of running away from in some way because they really don't serve us. And primarily, there's so many things I've spoken about already that are culminating into this talk today. Yeah. Wow, where to begin? Well, let's begin with the lesson from A Course in Miracles, lesson 181. I trust my brothers who are one with me. Think about that just for a moment and feel the resistance that the ego has to that. I trust my brothers who are one with me. Now, in A Course in Miracles, we the word brothers refers to sisters as well. It's just easier translation for all of humanity. It also promotes the idea that there's only one Son, which, as it said, only begotten Son in John 3:16. And every time you hear that ding, an angel has got its wings. So that's 3 angels so far that are with us. Brilliant. Okay. And so when it says, I trust my brothers who are one with me, what I get from that, in fact, I'll read the first paragraph and then we'll discuss it. Trusting your brothers is essential to establishing and holding up your faith in your ability to transcend doubt and lack of sure conviction in yourself. Let's let that in. I mean, that each sentence that Jesus says in A Course in Miracles could be a whole discourse in itself when you take it apart. Trusting your brothers is essential to establishing and holding up your faith in your ability to transcend doubt and lack of sure conviction in yourself. So what I get from that is, we've established in previous podcasts that we are love in a body, we are innocence in a body, we are given the gifts that there was nothing held back for us to create as our Creator created us. So when you apply that as the lens to this sentence, holding up your faith and your ability to transcend doubt and lack of sure conviction in yourself, So if we're not trusting our brothers, we can't really trust what we believe about ourselves, is what I get from that. When you judge a brother, you proclaim that he is limited by what you have perceived in him. So, when there's judgment, we've also discussed that love does not flow. So, what I'm getting from this is, if we cannot perceive our innocence, perceive the innocence within our brother, we haven't perceived it in ourselves. So this is saying for me that the idea that everyone is a reflection of what's in our mind, this seems very clear here. You do not look beyond his errors. Rather, they are magnified, becoming blocks to your awareness of the self that lies beyond your own mistakes and past his seeming mistakes as well as yours. Now see, what I see in life, and if you look carefully at your own programming, that when we default to immediate judgment, it's involuntary. It's heavily programmed from the time we're young in the ego for viewing everything with an opinion and a judgment, some kind of decision of what it is. The first lesson in A Course in Miracles, lesson 1, just says, what I see is not what it is. That's what I love about the Course. To me, it's pure shamanism. Wow, another angel got its wings. Fantastic. All right, next sentence. Okay, well, let's just do that again with the new understanding we have, the whole paragraph. Trusting your brothers is essential to establishing and holding up your faith in your ability to transcend doubt and lack of sure conviction in yourself. So in other words, when we're judging our brother, we're also judging ourselves. When you judge a brother, you proclaim that he is limited by what you have perceived in him. So true. A judgment seems to be a decision about what something or someone is, and that severely limits what it actually is for us. You do not look beyond his errors. True. In other words, what the Course is wanting us to do is to see through our default vision of judgment and to claim the clean innocence of everything and everyone, the way God sees us. And that's the whole training for me. They call it Christ vision in the Course, where you can see the way, that Jesus displayed so clearly when he came here. That's how people were healed. He only saw their pure, unadulterated, shining, sparkling soul that lives in eternity. He saw that right through them being blind, crippled, deaf, leprosy. He saw right through that to the brilliant soul that they are. And their default vision of looking at him and listening to him reflected their perfection from his view, and they were healed. So this whole first paragraph is lending into that. When you see only your default judgment, you magnify, which becomes blocks to your awareness of the self that lies beyond your own mistakes and past his seeming mistakes as well as yours. So here's actually the principle of unity, of oneness, of we are all one in action, in perfect clarity in action. That it's stating there really isn't another in regards to Christ's vision. That the cleanliness of our view of innocence for someone is reclaiming our own innocence in the same moment. Viewing beyond what we think is a mistake for whatever moralistic or societal programming that we have inside. Viewing through that as a default, we're actually judging ourselves and using our brother or sister as a target to do it. Now, isn't that interesting? Now, what this does when you begin reprogramming your mind, when you begin reprogramming all that you see that's a default, and looking through that, behind that, searching for, connecting to someone's pure innocence, their divinity, their immortal soul. I know it seems like a shaman exercise because it kind of is. But you know, there are those books called the Magic Eye books. And you can look at a flat screen and all you see is a bunch of figures. I'm going to go get the book. Give me a second here. Now, I'm not selling this book to you, but I'm going to use it as a metaphor to make a very clear idea of how to do this. So this is one of the books I share with my students. And you see that picture right on the cover? Now, it looks 2D, completely 2D, flat. But when you stare at it, and you look, you relax your default vision of the 2D. Now, this is a training. I mean, people have a hard time with this at first. And sometimes it really pisses them off that they can't get it. But you look at the 2D and you relax your default visioning of the 2D. And you allow your vision to go through the 2D in wonder of what the message is behind the 2D. And it will take form into a whole idea that was not visible at first. And it'll become 3D. And it's the same exact technology that the Course is sharing here. To look through our default vision. Now, this needs a lot of practice. I'm aware of this. I practice it every day. And I notice when I have a judgment around someone or a trigger, that now I've trained my default to come back at me and to look at me and wonder, what is that filter that I'm viewing this person through? Or this accident, or this what looks like an error or a mistake. For example, when you're driving on the highway or any street and you hear sirens going off for an ambulance and sirens for also first responders rescue, and they go right past you, the default thought is, oh my God, oh my gosh, and get off the road. We're trained, right? Yet if you look through that into all events are neutral, something has happened in the world that requires your love. That's it. So you could put a bubble of aloha into that ambulance or on top of it and have it roll over, have it embrace what looks like the injured party with divine, cosmic, God's love. And that's the best way to respond to what looks like an emergency, right? Rather than going to fear. Fear is usually the first default, So in other words, everything in the world is happening as it should be. And to be able to respond to everything that happens with a loving embrace, viewing from above, that we are conduits, we are messengers of God to bring heaven to earth in whatever form we can in any given moment. So when this becomes the default, you will see your brothers and sisters quite differently, even the ones that seem to be hurting you. Look for their innocence behind, underneath, and through your default view, and you will have an entirely different experience of this person and of yourself. Now, all of this leads into a whole nother program that I see running for all of us. Which is the program of insufficiency, the program of lack. And this exact technology that I'm sharing with you so far, it plays into the default mechanism of lack, of insufficiency, of there's not enough. I'm not enough, it's not enough, they're not enough. And you can see this in yourself when you go to buy something that you really want or need, and the price is way too high. That's the way it appears to be. And then you have to kind of like, determine, well, is it really worth it, right? Do I deserve it? Is another approach. Well, there's a great teaching in this idea of there isn't another. And what I started doing to practice this idea of feeling infinite abundance within me is looking at that program. For instance, I'm going to get a car wash. And I've got this amazing deal. It's like $50 a month for infinite car washes. And these guys, they work really hard at the car wash. And so there's a default program of, hey, I pay them enough. And then as I change the program and I think, okay, wait a minute, if everything I see is a reflection and everything I give, I'm giving to myself, then that's not going to work because I'm giving lack when I think that thought. So ever since I've been putting a couple of bucks, sometimes up to $5, quite often, $5 bill, into every car wash, hand it to the guy, he puts it in the tip box. And it feels so good because I feel his gratitude. It goes really quickly from him taking it from me and putting it in the box. I feel gratitude, within both of us. And so through the principle of giving in this way, it's not giving from the ego, because the ego believes that, oh, I look at my wallet and, oh, if I give them more than $2, I won't have enough for something else later. Ego giving. And you give the $2 in with that idea in mind, and there's no gratitude coming back whatsoever. But I look at my wallet, I see a bunch of singles, I see a 5, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm giving this to myself. Wow, I give the 5, immediately the gratitude circles. I could have given the 2, and I do it the same way. And the gratitude immediately cycles back to me when I give it to myself through them with gratitude. There's no lack. And that's the changing of the program. And it's exactly the same in what I shared with you earlier about seeing through someone's mistakes, seeing through the judgment of someone. It's exactly the same. Because when you see through it and you see the light, the innocence, the guiltlessness in them, it immediately reverberates back just like the tip, and you are claiming your own innocence. Why? Because we are one. There really is no separation. And this is an incredible experiment for you to do in your daily life. If you want to embody abundance, holding it in your head is not enough. Holding concepts in your head is not enough. You have to be aware enough, long enough, to go through the 2D into the extended vision to get the whole picture of what's happening. And there you go. Wow, that's a lot of material in a short period of time. All right, let's read paragraph 2 in lesson 181 in the workbook, Course in Miracles. Perception as a focus. It is this that gives constancy to what you see. In other words, always be aware when you focus, if it's with judgment or with love. Change but this focus, and what you behold will change accordingly. Your vision now will shift to give support to the intent which has replaced the one you held before. Remove your focus on your brother's mistakes, and you experience the peace that comes from faith in innocence. This faith receives its only sure support from what you see in others past their mistakes. For their mistakes, if focused on, are witnesses to mistakes in you, and you will not transcend their sight and see the innocence that lies beyond. So I'm saying, there it is. Yeah. Therefore, in practicing today, we first let all such little focuses give way to our great need to let our innocence become apparent. We instruct our minds that it is this we seek and only this. For just a little while, we do not care about our future goals, and what we saw an instant previous has no concern for us within this interval of time wherein we practice changing our intent to see. We seek for innocence and nothing else. We seek for it with no concern but this moment. Let's breathe that in. Okay, let's have a meditation. Center yourself. Close your eyes, get comfortable. You can be laying down or in a chair. Okay, we're going to practice setting up this program. So, breathe in from above, filling yourself with golden white light, pouring down on you like a beautiful shower onto your head, into all your bodies. Funneling golden white light in through your crown, let's go vertical, from your higher self, from your eternal self, into your mortal self and your emotions and your feeling body. Fill it with light, divine golden white light. Now we're going on a little journey to plant this idea even deeper in your programming. Imagine yourself on a train or a bus or an airplane. And you're sitting there and you hear the chuckles of a baby in the next row next to you, or one row in front of you. The baby's being held over the shoulder so they can see you and they're looking right at you. Now when you look at the baby, feel its innocence, its joyful, gleeful innocence, pure and simple, staring right at you in wonder of you. Now the baby's not fully programmed yet, so it can just hold up its head, stare around, and it's landed on you, and it's looking right through you with pure innocence. Now breathe this in from this beautiful baby. And now imagine that you are the baby looking at you. And see your own innocence as the baby does, looking at you. All it sees is your pure, gleeful innocence looking at it. Ike moaka aka o keiki maka. I see through the eyes of a child. And you see your own immortal soul through the baby's eyes. Breathe this in and claim it. Say the words out loud. I am innocence in a body. Again, I am innocence in a body. One more time. I am innocence in a body. And as the baby, you look around the room and you don't have a judgment of anything. You just see shapes and colors, sizes, and hear what's going on without interpretation. And reclaim this as a program you can have inside yourself now. The view of everything without meaning is a divine perspective of this 3D world. And now we're going to flip the screen. And I want you to bring up someone in your mind screen who you have an issue with. And using this new program that we just installed, I want you to see right through those feelings, right through that issue you have with the other. I want you to see right through it. The innocence that they were born with, and they will carry even when this body goes back to infinity. If this person was angry, see through the anger. If this person was abusive, see through the abuse. See through the compassion of them hurting, all the way to the part of them that cannot be hurt, that is immortal, that is a sparkling soul, pure and innocent, having a very human experience. Now take this and overlay it on yourself. We're going to change the screen one more time. Think about something that you thought you did wrong, someone that you perhaps hurt, or hurt yourself with judgment, or something that you deem as a mistake that you made in regards to your own well-being. Bring that up into your mind screen. And from above, viewing your humanness, see your innocence. See your pure being inside that contraction. See right through the judgment of yourself into the purity of your soul, knowing this is who you are. And let's plant this now deep in our biocomputer. Repeat after me. I love myself deeply. And breathe that in from light from above. I love myself deeply. I love myself deeply. Now the I is your higher self, your whole self, your immortal self. And when you say myself, you're talking about all of you, including your humanness. So let's try that again, knowing the I means your angelic self. I love myself deeply. Feel that light coming in from above when you inhale. Feel the love, the divine love, descending like a shower upon you. Feel your innocence in this. As we say, I forgive myself for everything. And breathe in light from above as you say it again. I forgive myself for everything. And one more time. I forgive myself for everything. Open your energy and open your wings and feel your innocence as you exhale. Feel that light coming from above in abundance. As we say, I trust and surrender to the light of my soul.